Legislative diplomatic engagements lead to handshakes between Nigeria and Ghana. Also on political update today, the king steps in, cautions political actors and their bully boys as the Edo State gubernatorial race enters home stretch, plus a discussion on the low-hanging fruits and the nation's efforts to return the economy to a positive trajectory. I am Fisayo Ogunfui. Welcome. President Muhammadu Buhari has urged the governor of Ogun State, Dapo Abiodun, to keep faith with the next level agenda and remain focused on the implementation of people-centered policies. Governor Abiodun was at the State House on Thursday.
Governor Dapo Abiodun was in the State House to present to President Muhammadu Buhari the first copy of a compendium which chronicles his genuine efforts at transforming the Gateway State for a sustainable future in his first year in office. The governor used the opportunity to inform the Nigerian leader of the desire of his administration to reconstruct the federal route leading to what he called the nation's biggest industrial hub, the Agbara Industrial Estate.
This route has continued to become an embarrassment, not just to us in Ogun State, but the entire country. This place is important to us for the economic survival of our state and the country at large. We have decided to intervene in this road ourselves as a state. I wanted Mr. President to know that we are going to have to construct that road at our expense, and I wanted him to inform the Federal Ministry of Works that we will be doing so, and we will also be making demands on them for a full refund of the construction of that road.
He also reminded the president of the earlier request by Ogun and Lagos state governments to take over and commercialize the Lagos-Ota Abeokuta road.
The federal government cannot afford to build all the roads at the same time. We can take that burden off the federal government. And I'm glad to say that Mr. President was very pleased with these discussions and these applications, and he's promised to see what he will do to give us the necessary support so that, this can also help us in the economic upliftment of our region.
It was also an opportunity for Governor Abiodun to give his impression of President Muhammadu Buhari.
Mr. President is so meticulous, he's so methodical, he's extremely organized. And at any point in time, any governor wants to see the president, all you have to do is ask, and the president will give you audience. He will give you audience, he will take notes. And for those of us that know the president, he's someone who believes in constituted authority. So when a governor says, these are my problems, the president takes it to heart and he follows through with it. One cannot ask for a better captain of our ship. That is what I have seen in Mr. President, and that is what I probably think that most people will not know, because Mr. President is not a man of many words.
The governor described the recent increase in the pump price of petrol as well as electricity tariff as inevitable.
Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, has tabled proposals that would bring an end to the challenges of Nigerian traders doing business in Ghana. The Speaker made his thoughts known during a legislative diplomatic engagement with Ghanaian officials in Kumasi, Ghana.
The implementation of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center Act, some sections of which provide that foreign investors are not allowed to participate in petty trading, sale of goods or provision of services in a market, retail of finished pharmaceutical products, and that a person who is not a citizen may engage in trading upon investing $1 million have affected Nigerian traders in Ghana. The Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila, during a legislative diplomacy bilateral meeting with Ghanaian lawmakers and some top government officials, called on authorities to revisit the components of the law that requires a capital base of $1 million. He pointed out that by virtue of being ECOWAS countries, nations and citizens should be able to live, work and thrive in member nations without any form of hindrance or discrimination. The Speaker noted that the implementation of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center Act should be explored further vis-à-vis ECOWAS trade protocols, the recent adoption of the African Continental Trade Agreement by African nations, and also the movement towards a single currency in the West African sub-region. He said the challenges that Nigerian traders face in Ghana are a cause for deep concern for all arms of the Nigerian government and the Nigerian people. The Ghanaian Minister of Trade and Industry, Alan Kiremateng, said there are many Ghanaians and Nigerians who are going about their lawful duties without difficulties. He, however, said that as long as the laws remain on the statute books, his request is that those who are engaged in retail trading should, at least for now, until further considerations are made, respect the law, because Ghanaian traders themselves are required to respect the laws, as it will be discriminatory to require Ghanaians to respect the same laws and not require foreigners to do so. A communique will be issued as the conclusion of talks.
Back home, the Edo State governorship election is in a fortnight, and the candidates are in the final phases of their campaigns. Obeya Presai Otobo filed this update.
The APC governorship candidate, Pastor Osagi Izeyamu, is reaching out to the people of Edo Central with the message of simple agenda ahead of the election on the 19th of this month. About 10 wards in Esan West are lined up for the commencement of the tour. The various challenges identified in these areas, including shortage of teachers, water and electricity, dilapidated infrastructure, are what the APC candidate promises to address if the people give him their mandate. But he wants them to shun violence at the election.
If they prosper, the state they prosper. So any way to support your business, to support what you go do, we go do there. The L now leadership by example. Governor who now we trust. Governor who now go see. Governor who go help when I want help. And the E now employment and empowerment. Our youth need job, we must help them with job. Our women need empowerment. Not be only rapper. Now we're going to give our women. They want money take work. Not be so. Not be so. By the grace of God, we go do all these things. But you must all vote for APC.
The former APC National Chairman Adams Oshomole, the State Chairman of the APC, and others reaffirmed their confidence in Pastor Izeyamu to make a difference in governance.
We are hoping for better times ahead, and I look forward to the privilege of, in the near future, sitting with a Professor First Lady of Edo State, and I will give him that.
The wife of the APC candidate is one of those at the rally. The team observed a moment of silence in honor of the departed 2 police officers attached to the APC convoy who lost their lives in an auto crash. Meanwhile, the PDP candidate, Governor Obaseki, has concluded his ward-to-ward tour in Orion local government area, while reaffirming the promise he made to the Oba of Benin on acts of thuggery during the election, reassured the people of development if re-elected.
Watch your votes, defend your votes, so that your vote will be counted. And after your votes have been counted, and I come back as governor, Urunibe will be my priority.
The PDP candidate and other stalwarts sensitize the people to the right way to cast their votes.
Already 2 main candidates in the Edo governorship election have been urged to discourage overzealous and violent supporters as the Guba race reaches its business end. Oba of Benin, His Royal Majesty Oba Ewa II, convened the meeting.
2 candidates, Godwin Obaseki and Pastor Osagi Izeyamu, practically demonstrate the peace pact with an embrace.
It's my senior father and all those present that we as a pact pledge to ensure from our supporters, our followers, that they conduct themselves. We must ensure that there's no violence in this election. It's a family one.
Other stakeholders are also getting on the same page.
I share your concern, and I assure you, to the extent that I can speak, we will speak to the Edo people and to our supporters and even non-supporters to abide by your Majesty's
I believe it is in the interest of all of us and the good people of this state to maintain peace before, during, and after the elections.
I'm completely relieved at what Your Majesty has had to say and the kind of responses that we are getting from the principal actors.
This pact of peace is at the instance of the Benin monarch, who is passionate about seeing a peaceful governorship election in Edo State.
Please, I want to beg you, I want to plead, what I want to hear from both parties. From today, you have visited us, you want to assure me, one way or the other, we work together with Pastor Ezekiel, together, not different. Because you are working.
The Oba believes with this, peace has come to the political space in the state.
The Oba there, now Omonoba Nedu Kwakpolopolo Oba Ewa, the second, is no stranger to resolutions like this, being a long-serving ambassador of Nigeria to different countries in Europe when he was in service. Now let's hear the actual words to the candidates. Strong words from the monarch in this next clip.
But the utterances are here, the statements are here, the activities most immature. It's not enough. We are not behaving in those states properly. We are calling people to come and laugh at us. Do you want people to laugh at us? Huh? Philip, they say you are the tough one inside. You must behave. Please. Huh? Tell your voice, if it's you, tell your voice to cease fire, that your papa has told you to cease fire. Enough is enough. I don't want to hear shootings, guns anymore. Enough is enough. Don't want to kill yourselves because of office. Because office will be there, life will be there. When, even if you don't win, there will be other things God has proposed for you. Maybe even greater things. Must it be a do or die affair?
Joining us today on Political Update is former Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Usani Nguru. Usani, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
First of all, of course, you have also run campaigns like this, vying for the top position in your state. At this time, just a fortnight to election day, what happens in the camp? What, give an idea of what will be happening at this time?
Well, it's not a matter of giving an idea of what will be happening. We are already seeing what is happening. So it's for us to offer our opinions on what's happening.
Go ahead.
We should reflect on the fact that in 2015, when the president won election, there was no rancor, there was no court case against it, because the process was transparent. So when processes of statutes and regulations are abused, this is bound to happen, because the Nigerian politician is desperate. And by that desperation, they fund all types of untoward conduct, thuggery, and so on. They prefer to spend billions of naira funding thuggery and violence than to spend that money on the common man to make himself popular. So until the politician in Nigeria changes his attitude and knows that the people he intends to govern should not be brutalized, should not be traumatized. And so it is all a function of how the leading politicians behave, especially the ambitious ones, the desperate and overzealous ones. To be in politics is to serve the people. So once you see any politician becoming unnecessarily desperate, then he has something personal to benefit from it, and not necessarily service, because service is sacrificial, and nobody wants to invest his life as a capital sacrifice on offering service. Therefore, it is an index of determining which politician is sincere and which one is dishonest. So politicians must tame their conduct, especially given positions of responsibilities. We must try to obtain first-class behaviors in conducting and discharging our duties. So if the process of any emergence or carrying out any function by a public officer is contemptuous, then the outcome, of course, will have no effect.
Last week, the NTA commissioner was in Edo State and was talking about some of the, things that we'll be looking out for in the new normal in terms of early preparations for this. In terms of logistics, what would you like to see, especially since the Niger Delta terrain, there must be some places, Ilusha and the others, where you might need to ferry, voting materials early and all that. So what would you like to see this time, especially now that it's the COVID-19 era? What are the new things you might need, to see logistically in terms of the umpire?
Well, obviously, we will understand that the times are quite challenging, given the circumstances. And if they used to prepare 5 days before the beginning of the election, proper, here they need maybe 2 weeks earlier, which I believe by now they have been conscious of and have carried out. So we would like to see a peaceful election. And if Edo State can have a peaceful election, then it will mean that Nigeria is marching and progressing. But we don't know. From the signs we are having, we hope that the intervention of the Oba of Benin will have anything to contribute to the reformation of the attitudes of those involved, either as primary indices or secondary factors. So what we would like to see in the logistics of the elections forthcoming, Edo, Ondo, and the by-elections in the other several states of the legislative seats, we think at the end of the day we should be able to not to hear that original papers are not there, the ballot papers of one polling unit are found in another polling unit, or the ballot papers of Edo State are found in Lagos State. All that will suggest how tenable we are in being prepared to be transparent in our electionary processes.
And you know that different camps already are preparing, in terms of, the last few days to election, it gets more intense. And sometimes instead of looking at the manifesto or whatever the parties are putting forward, the people want to see the physical impact in terms of Naira and Kobo on them before even the election day.
Unfortunately, the early class believes that the more you de-educate the downtrodden, the better for us, because they will then depend on the gullible fake news and propaganda of those who have the ability to tell lies, as is prevalent in the political class. The politicians in Nigeria today, when you hear them go on campaign, is to abuse the enemies, to abuse their political force. And so the people are never, ever attracted to ask, what do you have for us? And of course, when we go out on campaigns and we begin to say, we will give you road, we'll give you water, we'll give you jobs, there are some things that are obviously not possible. How do you say government will give all the people jobs? How? Except you don't understand the social and welfare economics of a dynamic sovereignty like Nigeria, which has no production base, but basically an exchange economy. Otherwise, anybody telling you we'll give you jobs must be lying, and we should be conscious of that. There are certain factors that must be laid as a foundation before jobs can naturally propel the economy from private sector, partnering with the public sector being government necessarily to make policies for conducive environments for the jobs to come out. Yes.
All right, let's move on very quickly. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo on Thursday joined the conversation on the question around reporting of virtual court proceedings, which he describes as crucial to the
taken advantage of so that the economy can be reviving on its own. And of course, you know, during the COVID-19 period, there were instances where the international crude marketing affected fluctuation of petroleum products, downward, upward, based on the dynamics of the global market. And at that time, Nigerians did not also think that we'll be helped.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
This is the network service of the NTA.
When music meets dance, love meets poetry, and stories meet drama. Your joy, laughter, smiles and giggles will be all that matter. Let's gather here. Showbuzz. Live life.